What's up, my Degens? How we doing? Welcome to Dynasty Degens. We are on episode 69. So, I mean, there's no other person I would want on episode 69 than the Thriller from Fall River, the host with the most. My man is back on the Degens, and I am pumped, dude. If you guys weren't listening to us before, you don't deserve us. But I'm also going to preface that with Nino was my co-host. Nino held it down when I took the entire year off. He was the man that held down Devi Degens. He was doing Dynasty Degens. He was just a one-man team. And I love this guy. I love you, brother. I'm so happy that you're on with me. How you doing?
I love you too, buddy. It's been too long. I posted you when you tagged me in the post. It's been too long. I'm super excited. Man, when me and you are on a pod together, it's like riding a bike. It's just natural. It's like talking shop and everything comes out smooth. I'm excited, man. It's been too goddamn long. Life's been lifing. Let's talk some ball.
Hell yeah, man. I know. There's no reason for us to go this long without sitting on the mic together, man, and talking ball. And we're both Boston guys, and man, you're right. It's natural getting on the pot with you. I don't really have to prep too much. And it's almost like I didn't prep for this one, but I knew I didn't have to. I was like, all right, usually I'm sitting there in the lab a little bit and I'm checking the show sheet and stuff. I'm looking at these guys and I know I don't have to do that with you, man. I think it's just going to be good content regardless. We could just talk about what we were talking about backstage and people would probably listen in and be into it, So
100%.
Yeah. But yeah, man, let's have some fun with it. We're talking 2026 class. We're talking about the guys that are probably going to be drafted, projected first round guys. We don't have the set. We're not future tellers, and we don't have the ball in our hands where we're looking into the future by any means. But these are the guys that we like in this class. We think that they're going to be first round picks or close to it, and they're probably going to be high up in your rookie drafts. This is a dynasty pod, so we're going to try to at least translate any of this content into that. But a lot of Devi talk in this one. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. Let's talk quarterbacks initially. Let's talk about the guys that are probably going to man this class, because it looks like it could be a pretty deep quarterback class. But we say this every year. Like, I know that we say, hey, man, we got all these guys. We have a 4 or 5 spot guys that are going to come in and probably be top of the class. And we know that people fall out of favor and then people jump up. Jaden Daniels wasn't viewed as the top guy, and look at how that worked out. Right. There's always these guys that slide up. Cam Ward was still like, we knew what Cam Ward was, but I didn't see him really coming to the top of the class, like going that kind of jump above someone like Shedeur. And like, you didn't really know how that was going to play out. And it's much like this class. We don't really know who's going to be the quarterback one of this class. Like Arch Manning, if he comes out, that's your one, I assume, right? Or tell me where you're leaning right now. So we're looking at Manning, Nussmeier, Sellers, Klubnik. Is there anybody else that you think is in that realm of possibly coming up as a first round quarterback?
Aller, and then there's like 2 names depending on how well this year pops off. But I mean, if John Mattia translates 85% of what he did at Washington State at Oklahoma at a bigger stage in that conference, he's probably going to be in New York. And if he's in New York, with the Heisman talk, he's probably going to be in the first round talk as well. So he's a guy. And then, Sammy Leavitt, bro. I mean, we've seen what he did last year for Arizona State. If he can piggyback off that, now it's Scatterbo gone. He's arguably got, the top wide receiver in this class on his team, healthy. We know Scatterbo, it's going to be a little bit more on him. I think if he can take that next step, there's a chance that he might be able to pass a couple of these guys that we have right now in our top, 5, 4, whatever it may be.
Yeah, it's open, and that's what we're talking about backstage. Like, I couldn't tell you the one of this class at each position with confidence. I think that we are looking at a blanketed class, which is nice. And everyone says this class is weak. Do you feel like this class is weak? Because I don't think this class is. I think it's pretty top heavy, but I think it lacks the depth. Like this past class was deep, right? Like we're talking about guys like all the way back. Like I was talking about Damian Martinez, he went in the 7th round. You know, like these
for running backs, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, like just the overall class was deep in general. Like, you know, obviously the running back was the top tier of what that class was, but yeah, I mean, you could have had a whole pot on different guys that were pretty much faded by the NFL, and that's how deep that class was. Because I didn't know that, you know, guys like Martinez were going to be essentially dropped out. Like certain guys that I like in college, I liked in their tape, I liked how they produced, and they didn't quite translate to, you know, at least the DC that we saw, that we want to see in that position.
No, not at all. A lot of guys, and especially in that RE room, I think that draft capital killed them, and it may take another year, or they may kind of have to find another team. But by the time it's their chance to get that opportunity, but I wanted you mentioned Cam Ward earlier, and there was something I wanted to say, and I forgot about it. No, I don't know if anybody us saw him taking the jump and like you said, and separating himself from everybody. But I think if you put him in the other class, I don't know if it's a hot take, but he's probably the 4th, 5th quarterback in that class. So you go from being the 4th or 5th in the class previous, who everybody thought wasn't a very good class. Bo Nix, I was told, wasn't going to be the guy. He wasn't that good, this and that.
If you ever went against Nino about Bo Nix, man, give this man his flowers, because he was on our pod talking about Bo Nix way before anybody was in on Bo Nix, and I promise you, I even was going against him to the degree where I was like, I don't think he's going to be that good, man. But yeah, dude, I tip my cap to you on that Bo Nix call. You were definitely in on that. You had the Penix call too. I think you were in on both of these guys. For where they were and where they went. I think that's really, you know, I appreciate your take on those guys for sure.
Hey, for the wins and losses, I was a Will Levis guy, and we all saw what Will Levis, you know, did. So
I mean, dude, he got a lot of people. Yeah, I had Cody Carpenter on here, and he was just like, bro, were you on that pod with him with Levis?
With Levis?
Yeah. I think you did that pod with me and him. Yeah. But he was like talking crazy about Levis.
He said he could have been the one, like the QB1 of the and he got me thinking that he might have been it too. I
was drinking the juice after sitting with him, dude. He was like, I was like, oh man, I better get some more Will Levis shares, because I was like, this guy's really in on him. So I mean, we know what Arch Manning is, right? So we can just talk to these guys just a little bit, piece by piece here. Arch Manning, obviously, he's got the pedigree. We know his family, but he's got the blue chip tools. I think he, you know what I mean, processes well. He's got that the vision. I think that he's poised in the pocket. I do, you know, he's set up. He's got all the tools. I don't think he's coming out in this class. I think that would be insane. But
I don't think so either. I think he's kind of preluded to that. No, but I think he's preluded to him and Eli have that he's going to take the Eli Manning route. Like 2 years, learn the system, right? Master it, play when he's needed, and then start for 2 seasons and go ball out that senior year and go be able to kind of dictate where you want to go without actually having to pull the Eli Manning dictation card. But we say we know what Arch is. But I'm going to be one of those. I like his game from what I've seen. But in Texas, I think the best thing that we've seen from him is his legs. It's not really his arm yet. So, you know, like we've seen a few throws, but we've also seen, okay, we've the guys that want the Manning name to be have said, that just takes time. He doesn't have enough reps. But maybe maybe it's not just it takes time. Maybe it's something that he needs to work on. You know what I mean? So we want to put him in there and be the QB1. And I think that if everything goes as to plan, yes, he should be the QB1. I don't think he comes out of this class. I think it's the following class. I think he's going to want to piggyback 2 good years. He's going to want to polish himself. And I think he's had this plan, this process before he was even committed to Texas. I think the whole family, all of them, even Grandpappy, sat down and said, okay, this is what we're going to do. And if you follow this blue chip process we give you, there will be success at the end of the road. So I honestly don't think Archer's won here.
Yeah. I think that's pretty solid. I don't ever see. I can hear my daughter's up in the background right now. She's running around. Why is she awake right now? 10 o'clock. But there's no way. There's we got the NIL in there right now. He's going to be pretty comfortable in that spot. I think at least sitting back for a little while. Who is the one of this class for you? If we don't see an Arch, I mean, you might not even have Arch as the one of this class, even if he does come out. But are we talking Sellers? Yeah, I mean, are you in on Nussmeier? Like, are you more of all right? So I'm looking at it: Nussmeier, Sellers, Klubnik in that, and then LR could be in that range of player. How do you rank these 3-4 guys right now?
All right, I'll rank in two separate ways, and then I'll kind of discuss it. All right, so right now, today, before the season starts, I would go Klubnik, Nuss, Aller, Sellers. Okay, what I think by the end of the season, and if these quarterbacks take the step, I think Sellers could be one. Okay, because I think
I was going to get
Cam Newton Jr. If he takes the step with pocket presence and the deep ball, right? Because everything else he's kind of got down pat, and I think that success is going to go hand in hand with Nicholas Harbor now kind of being a full-time football player and not a track star anymore. So that we'll see. But the reason why I have Cade at 1 is he's more polished at all of the things that the traditional quarterback would be: pocket passer, right? The reads, the progression, his cadence at the line of scrimmage, throwing wide receivers open. He's gotten better with things that he was the year before that were bad. He improved on last season. And what I think kind of separates him from Nussmeier is he has the mobility. This guy can rush for 500-600 yards. It's kind of like a Jackson Dot style where Nussmeier, don't you really use his legs? And if we're going to go checkbox to checkbox, when it comes to pressure, Cade can see the pressure, check out of it, get off the hot read if he has to. Nuss is really damn good, and as a quarterback that I would want the next level, if he's in a clean pocket all the time. But when it comes to pressure, or that first shot that he takes that he didn't really see, then the balls start coming out a little bit quicker, right? The windows start shortening, and they don't need to. And then I'm not going through all my progressions. I'm kind of going for that hot read right off the rip, and then we start to see some things like we saw him burn teams like South Carolina with the RPO, but then we've seen in other games like he was turnover central, right? We had a stretch against Alabama, I think in Ole Miss, where he had like 4 or 5 interceptions, and it was bad. Yeah, the touchdowns there, but we don't want the numbers to be similar when it comes to those two departments. So I would say Cade right now for me going into this season is 1, and I think if he continues to have a year like he had last year, or even gets better, it would be really hard for Sellers, even if he just goes off to pass him. Because if Cade's putting up 30 plus touchdowns and 4,000 yards again and a top 3, Sellers better be 50 total, right? Pulling out this highlight reels like Cam Newton did at Auburn, and I think he can. And beam a ball fits Sellers, you know what I'm saying? So I think he can, but it'd be hard if Klubnik is putting up. These two guys would be battling at the end, for that number 1 QB. As far as Aller goes, a year or two ago, I saw this meme and I was advocate about. People told me J.J. McCarthy was the guy. He should be QB1 in his class and this and that. And then they would go in the same breath and tell me that Drew Aller was a shitty ass quarterback. Pardon my mouth, but the numbers, if you look at the numbers, they're damn near similar. From his year, JJ's year that he got drafted to the year that, that same year in draft, they were similar. Very, very similar. My problem is when it comes to the big game with Drew Aller, my man Homer Simpson memes right into the bushes, and he goes, if you just look at stats, it's like, oh, well, he put up 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. Right. But then he had 2 picks in key moments. And when it came to completion percentage, when you're in the bottom half of the 50s or sub 50, we got a problem, right? Oh, against Oregon, he did really good. Yeah, but he threw the game-losing interception when they needed him to be money. So, yeah, he checks, the talent box, but he can't close. And when the pressure's on, the big lights are on, he seems to kind of crumble. And we've seen that with other quarterbacks. When it's smooth peanut butter teams, you look great. But when you need to step up and be him, HIM, you can't find a way to be Himothy. And we start to see what they always say when a person's telling you who they are, understand that they're showing you who they are and go with it, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you nailed that, man. You're spitting. My man is spitting right now. I think so. I'm gonna piggyback on a few things right here and run through it. Like, obviously, I agree with you. Klubnik's going to definitely smash this year. I think he's going to jump up big time. I think this is something that we've talked about in the past, but he's on pace to possibly be the QB1 of this class and also probably the most productive college quarterback this year. He's just set up. He's set up for great success. I think they're going to make a run. I think that team's going to go deep into the playoffs. I just think that he's going to have the stage to showcase who he is. And I think that he's probably going to succeed in at least catching the eyes of the people that matter most in the NFL. And I think that whoever's QB needy is probably going to snag him up in the first as possibly the first quarterback off. But then we're talking about Sellers, though, and Sellers is that rusher. He's that guy with the legs. He is the guy that every NFL team is going to want because of the ceiling, right? Mm-hmm. We always see these guys reached on. We always see these guys that are surprise picks, right? In the NFL, you're like, okay, nobody really even saw Jalen Milroe going where he went, right? Like, I think that kind of, there was like talks that he was going to, jump up. But I mean, even that kind of surprised people, and he isn't Sellers. I think Sellers is, if you're right, if he hones in on the things that he needs to improve on, he's a much better prospect than Jalen Milroe at this point, in my eyes. I just think that he is a little more polished as far as his decision making goes. I think he's got that wherewithal. Like, I think he does make the mistakes. He is definitely somebody that you can't trust fully, but I think if he has the opportunity to definitely be the 1B in this class, and Aller, he frustrates me, man. He really does. Like, for the times that I really appreciate him and I have him locked in lineups and I'm ready for him to really make the next step, it's like he almost takes a step back. Like last year, did you feel like he took a little step back in his progressions and in the way that he was operating a little bit? Or did you see him kind of stay even keel or make improvements? I mean, I don't know what you saw, but I felt like he had some games where he was looking like he was taking a step up, and then other games where he looked like he regressed.
I think he listens to the media too much, because I think after the USC game, right, where it was supposed to be them. They were supposed to be dominant in the game. They were supposed to kind of win that game handedly. They went to overtime, right? They won the game. My man, 3 interceptions, and we were talking about the whole, here we go again, the accuracy problems when it comes to Drew Aller, right? And I think my man might have an ear to the streets a little bit too much, and I think it kind of gets to him, and then he gets in his head because he'll get out of it for a little bit. And it was with Big Ten competition. He played well. But again, like I said, every time it comes to crunch time, I think they're chirping. The birds come chirping of what people are saying in the mainstream, and it gets him. He's got to figure that out this year, right? You know what I mean? Like, Franklin's put all the pieces around him. People think that Pena is going to be a guy. I have a question when it comes to a 23-year-old breakout wide receiver. We haven't really seen that much success when it comes to that, but who knows? Maybe he's the unicorn, the outlier to that. But it's his best receiver that he's probably had, right? Since he's been there. So he's got 2 guys in the backfield that 1,000-yard backs every year. That defense that Franklin puts on the field. Now Jim Knowles is there. Like, I mean, that defense should put Aller in a place where he should only have to put up 17 points per game, and they should be able to win. So
Yeah, and
I
that
think
almost
he's set up.
scares me. He's set up. I think he's set up to have like a Jackson Dart type of season, right? Like I think he's like set up to do, I think, just enough to win games, but he's never going to be viewed as like a very good prospect for at least a fantasy perspective. Like I think that you probably might see him as a good NFL quarterback, like somebody that could be a good manager in the NFL, while also not offering up like a high ceiling in fantasy.
Yeah, he could be a Kirk Cousins type guy where like he hits, 1 year and the next year he's kind of middle of the pack type guy. Or he could be a Chad Pennington guy where he hits one out of every 5 years, and that's all you really get out of him, But we don't really know. I think this year is going to kind of solidify what he is. He's going to tell you what he is because the cards are on the table for him. Right, you don't really have to bluff it. We're going to see, his true colors this year, and hopefully he's able to get that monkey off his back. Like I said, I truly believe he's either him or his people, around him are feeding him the information. Because if you just watch what's said and then you watch the progress after that, he kind of starts to filtrate into him. But the kid has the intangibles. I just need to see him be able to close in the big games. That's my only concern when it comes to the big games. He almost would rather have somebody else finish. You know what I mean? Let me hand it to Nick. Let me give it to Katron. Let them finish it. You know what? Let's go for 3 here, right? And let, the big dogs on defense close it out for us. It says, nah, bro. Give me that Pat Mahomes style where I just want to run this down your throat, or I'm going to throw the 60-yard dagger, go up 10, make it 2 scores with 2 minutes to go, and sit back and be that dude. I feel like he wants someone else to finish the game for him. He needs to be the closer.
Yeah, and we could just transition right over to running back if you want. You dropped the nickname. I think that he's set up very well. I mean, that team in general is they're going to be a competitive team. They're going to go deep this season, and a big part of that's going to be Nicholas Singleton. And I think that he's going to be relied on, especially if Aller can't jump up in that, like in that way that we think he might be able to. We're waiting on it. I'm waiting on it. You are. And I think that it's possible. But if he stays the same and he's not really making massive improvements, I think Singleton is set up to were you shocked that he didn't come out? I was actually I was surprised by that personally.
So in a class that was deep, he had mirrored like numbers to Katron Allen. I think he needed to separate himself from Katron Allen for him to come out because it was a room that was deep. There was no. You look at last season. Is there any wild games you were like Nicholas Singleton won that game for Penn State? Like it's hard for you to think about a game where he was the dude who took over and. Genty, right? Like look at the running backs that went in just the top 5. Those guys, you go up, all right, yeah. There were games that these guys took over. I remember those games. Like Travion Henderson, the explosive was back. Him and Judkins had similar numbers, but you remember games where he was like, took off for a 50-yard touchdown. Like you remember that. I don't really remember much. Nicholas Singleton. I like Nicholas Singleton's game. His prospect is off the charts. But if I follow trends, bro, he had a mirror season from his freshman year. Same exact numbers, -7 yards, same exact touchdowns, right? What happened the year after his first season? Puff, gone, Magic Dragon. Dude, lost the explosiveness.
Yeah.
500 yards less, nerd boy. Like, it was like it was a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
I know. It reminded me of, like, we see it sometimes, like Travion Henderson was injury based, like we knew that he had something going on. Ollie Gordon was somebody that had that massive drop, like if we had the draft. Go ahead.
Well, Ollie Gordon got a workload dumped on. He almost had 300 attempts. That wasn't something. I didn't have him as a Jonathan Taylor type back, so I didn't see him again being able to pump up. And there was nobody for Oregon State. And if you think about it, at that time, it was just him. He was the guy. It
was the whole team. It was the whole team. I couldn't even name 5 players off of that team. in 2023. I actually could not, dude. And
So
gun to my head, I maybe have 3 or 4, but no, it was Ollie Gordon.
and
He was put up 300 yards in games. Like he was doing,
receiving
it was
too.
just, like dude, he had like 3 weeks in a row where he was dropping over 200 yards in a game. That's just incredible. He had the production that, you know what I mean? You're looking at, I don't know. I mean, I saw him jumping down because of that workload, but it happens. And this is why it's hard to rank these guys. This is why it's hard to really, put them up there in tiers and talk about Devy. This is why Devy's hard, man.
Mm-hmm.
I traded Singleton for Jonathan Taylor straight up when he had a big year.
Oh,
but,
yeah. All right.
When he had
right now, I'm like, I don't know.
No, I did it. And then I flipped JT for when we're talking about, all right, tell me if my mic's going to fall off right here. Hold on a second. We're going to talk through this. Yeah. Yeah. We're
got to keep one hand on it and you just keep
fixing.
screwing up on. So I think he stayed, Nerd Boy, for the fact that I think he knows that he has to have separation between him and Katron Allen for him to be a top back, because it's going to be because he's always going to be. I kind of do the similar thing when it comes to like Spiller and A-Chain. I was Spiller was good, but A-Chain was better. If you look at positive production per game, right? You go back and look at it in the same way. Allen against Singleton, I did bet you Allen's positive production per game. He's better, right? Like he was right there, but he's had less carries. He's a 2, so he has everything's a little bit less, but the production was just about the same. So he's probably going to be a little bit more in the green. So I think he knows he has to separate, and I think that he can. And for that reason, I don't have him at 1. I have him at 2.
No, I didn't think you did. I like the name drop, so I think he's my like 3-ish right now, and we're gonna. I think he's 3 for me. But I think he has the ability to jump up. What I was saying before is I traded Singleton for JT. I ran JT out last year, and my team's aging out a little bit. So I traded JT straight up for Travis Hunter. How you like that?
What's the running back room look like, though, outside of JT?
It's awful, dude. But I am also in a position as a Devy guy, like in this league, where I'm getting, so the guys that we're about to talk about, I own both of them. So I have Jeremiah Love coming, I have Mekhi Hughes coming, and then I have, it's not pretty, dude. I think there's a Najee Harris in there, and then Chase Brown. I think those are my starters.
Chase Brown
right now.
could be a top 10 back. Okay.
Yeah, Chase Brown's going to be solid. I think this move doesn't happen if I don't have the Devy squad that I do.
No way. You'd be struggling for that to turn your team the opposite direction, that move.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the ceiling, the move was strictly reliant on, this was even before we knew what Travis Hunter was going to come out as. It was just the biggest gamble. I got a jump in the Devy draft too. I got a 2nd for a 4th. But it was like, put your nuts on the table kind of trade. This guy could come out as a DB, full on DB. And then I could have traded,
for nothing.
Got
JT for a bag of peanuts.
Yeah. And just had him sitting on my taxi squad. But I mean, it looks okay right now. It looks fine, but
it looks like you'll be okay. And I think with Chase Brown and Najee or whatever, you're going to piecework in there as the second back. I think if you have a solid wide receiver room, obviously with Hunter in there, I think you can survive a year where, make playoff and maybe make a move or two to get you, maybe make the end of it. But I think with those guys coming in the Devy room the following year, you should be solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So Singleton's your 2. I'm assuming that where does Mekhi Hughes sit with you? Like, what do you have him as far as?
I have him as 3.
Okay, so we're our 2s and 3s are jumped, but yeah, we're simpatico essentially. We're in line there.
I have Love 1. I honestly think that he's going to be in New York. I think he's going to have a lot. I think there's going to be, because they don't have a solid 1 at quarterback right now, right? and whoever's going to be the quarterback for them is going to be a first-year starter. Marcus Freeman's not stupid. He's not going to go and put the hands into a first-year starter. At Notre Dame, they're going to rely on Love fully healthy. Dude's leaping guys. His athleticism jumps out of the stadium. He's going to be the guy. I mean, the guy averaged almost 7 yards per carry every time he touched the ball last year. And he had over 165 attempts. So I think this kid's game is crazy. I think he could be this year's Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they're going to rely on him a little bit more in the receiving game, which is going to, great house to be able to spread it deep. But I think this kid is going to just kind of solidify himself as the one early. And I think the rest of the pack's going to be chasing him.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a set it and forget it guy. We're talking. I mean, the Genty jump I think you saw the Genty jump happening, but Genty wasn't a lot of guys won last year. Genty wasn't really viewed as like the set it and forget it one of the class, right? I think Love mid-season, yeah, mid-season. But I think at the beginning of last season, there was nobody that was screaming Genty was going to be the top guy.
Right.
I think there's no question in this class. I think there's absolutely there's going to be at no point in time any of these guys coming close to Jeremiah Love. I think Jeremiah Love, he's a track star. He is that. He's electric. You're right. Every time he touches the ball, it's like must see. Get your popcorn ready TV.
Yeah.
Like you are locked in, dude. It's always a first down, right? The dude is a walking first down. Like he is just like boom, boom, boom. He moves the sticks, dude. Every single time he touches the ball,
it's crazy.
It's like. He's a secret weapon. Like he's like, well, not a secret, but he's just out there. Like he's a guy that I think anybody would want on their team. He's there's nothing I can say about him that hasn't really been said already. But where would he stack up right now in Dynasty for you? Like where would you all right, say he came out right now in this class, would you have him above a Travion Henderson, a Keyshawn? I think I'm putting him. I think the question would be Amari Hampton, or Jeremiah Love. I think I want Love, man. And is that spicy?
That would be a little spicy. I think Hampton's body structure.
He's a beast, yes.
Yeah, and this guy, you want to talk about first down? I mean, this Hampton was the first down. It was certified chain mover, bro. Like you might as well just give him a gold necklace, chain gang him up, because this kid, dude, every time he touched the ball, it was the first down. And the thing is, they stacked the box against him. They went through 3 quarterbacks at UNC, and the kid still got it done. You know what I mean? And you had more than 1 year of like production.
Yeah. I think Hampton is a big time prospect fatigue situation for a lot of people, because they watch him do it and they're like, oh, he's at UNC, this and that. Like we're talking about a guy that was just like, he's not catching a bunch of passes. He's not flashy. He's not like Travion Henderson is, he's catching, he's doing the out routes. He's getting like the little slant routes, and he's gunning down, and he's bursting through. It's like Hampton is he's a workhorse, man. He's like one of the very few guys that is still going to be a workhorse in the NFL. He's got that pedigree.
Right.
I was talking about on the pod earlier today. Workhorses don't exist in the NFL anymore. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about guys that can carry the ball 25, 30 times in a game. And it just doesn't, the NFL's changing, right? It's changing probably for the better. Probably to make these guys last longer. There's no more 26 age cliff nowadays, man. It doesn't exist, right?
Look at the Jets, bro.
Yeah, nobody's losing.
We think would be starting backs, dude.
Yeah, nobody's losing their job anymore to age. Everyone's just playing longer at this point. There's not enough positions for these guys. And it's kind of like annoying for Dynasty and Devy, right? Because all these guys that we valued are coming into the NFL, and they're not starting, or you're not coming to fruition, because I think a part of it is that these guys are playing longer. The NFL's figured out a way to elongate, to make the careers last of running backs. And now we're looking at a position where there's not enough team starters for the guys that are coming out.
I think you are right to a point. I think that it's kind of been the outliers. Now everybody thinks that they can be that. Like, I think the success of Barkley, success of Derrick Henry at older ages, and I mean Barkley's not that old, but he's an older back in the NFL, right? When it comes to being a lead guy, these guys are still doing it. They're older. Hence why I think Dallas showed that they're willing to take the risk on it. Javonte Williams is a little bit older back, right? Considering these rookies. And I think that's why in this deep class, a lot of our guys that we hope for draft capital faulted, because the NFL is recency bias, man. Oh, we're seeing these older guys do it. Yeah, they're not dead. They're still kicking. Like we saw 2 years ago with the quarterbacks. All of a sudden, we used to be like, all right, when it was middle 30, 34, 35, we started to get off these quarterbacks. They got to go. But then Brady started to do it. We started to see Aaron Rodgers play a little later. Drew Brees played a little bit later. Everybody's playing a little bit later and having success. And now Russell Wilson is the guy, the old man, like Philip Rivers was one of those. But I'm saying, like, in Dynasty and in the fantasy world, so I think now the running backs have kind of switched over to these old guys that are still relevant and can still do it. And now these younger kids are kind of taking the hit to that because NFL teams, plus their market's low. They can dictate the money that way. You know what I mean? Like the running backs are never going to be able to get wide receiver quarterback money. So we can play with the market here and we'll just go with the older guy, play with this contract and push your money to the bigger position guys. But I don't know if everybody's going to be these old guys that you continue to run like Saquon and Derrick Henry.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's going to happen either. I don't see it, but there is this mindset, and whether it's true or not, that you can play longer in the NFL now. You can play longer into the NFL. It's not as physical as it used to be. It's not as aggressive as it used to be. Like there's not a cutthroat. They protect players more as an organization now. So it's like, I think it's a good thing for people. I think that it's a good thing for NFL players to get that third contract that was so elusive for a lot of players. Like, running backs didn't get a third contract. It was a second contract, and then you're gone. You were done, and you were watching the games from home at that point in time.
Did you ever think you would be saying that Miles Sanders would get a third contract somewhere?
Dude, oh my God. Not even, I mean, seeing Javonte Williams on a new team is already like too much for me. You know what I mean?
At least he had a major injury that kind of set him back, right? Like you saw what he kind of could have been, then he had a major. What Miles Sanders do, bro? That justified three contracts.
Brother, I mean, the second contract was already too much, man. And I think that anybody can go into Philly and at least come out with a new contract. That's just like, if you want to revive your career, go behind that offensive line, man. Go play behind that offensive line with Hurts, where everyone's worried about him. You get the open looks, you get that open space, and you can run through those massive holes. And I mean, Barkley's a G, man. Barkley's absolutely gold. But we saw Miles Sanders do similar stuff behind that O-line. We
won't put those numbers up.
We saw Swift do some stuff behind that O-line. Like, hey, dude, you and I could go back there and maybe get some plus yardage at some point. I mean, I'm not saying
25.
I'm not taking away from Barkley by any means, but like, yeah, you get a couple contracts coming out of that offense right there, and that's we're gonna kick it over to Player Profiler, talking about Dynasty Deluxe, and then we're going to come right back.
If you play in Dynasty, you need Dynasty Deluxe, our premium package for Dynasty Leaguers. We rank over 300 players, updated every week, all year long, and there's a win now mode and a rebuild mode with superflex and tight end premium controls. And a Dynasty League sync, where you can say, sync down all of my sleeper teams, all my FFPC teams, and then you can browse around your leagues for who has needs, and then you can use our trade finder to see what kinds of trades are happening in leagues that are similar to the one I want to do. Then you can analyze trades using our trade analyzer, which balances the lifetime value, which includes picked values out to like 2028. All of that, plus the rookie guide, $25 value, is included. So if you're just in one Dynasty League, Dynasty Deluxe is well worth it. And use your host's promo code, and you can bump up to all in and get $25 off.
Yeah, so if you go over there, you go to playerprofiler.com and use our promo code DEGEN, DEGEN, we will do up to a $50 deposit match for you. So that's DEGEN, DEGEN. All right, man, we covered Singleton. We're talking Jeremiah Love, Mekhi Hughes. So he's your 3, my 2. We're not going in any order here. We're just having some fun with it. So, I mean, these are all guys. If you're just joining us or you're catching us late, we're talking about guys in the 2026 class that could have really good value next year, that could be in the top picks. We're talking about the first round of your dynasty draft. Mm-hmm. These are all guys that could slide up there. And then, I mean, they have the probability of being some of these guys first round in the actual NFL draft. You know, some of these quarterbacks that we touched on, I mean, we've seen running backs go in the first round consistently. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked to see Jeremiah Love possibly go in the first round next year if everything plays out the way that we think it's going to play out this year. Mekhi Hughes. So I really like him for this year. I think I like his contact balance. He's definitely electric. He's a strong runner. A bigger guy. I mean, we're talking about Love, who's about 205. I think Mekhi Hughes comes in at 215. I think he's putting on a little weight right now. I mean, you like what you see coming out of Tulane. I think that he's probably going to at least be a top 3 back this year. And then in this class, you know, it's going to be a little race between Singleton and Mekhi Hughes. If Singleton doesn't improve on last year, I can't see him being over Hughes in this class. But we assume that he's going to at least jump back up into maybe not the year that we saw him with that massive production, but I got to see some revival from Singleton. I got to see that he's the bona fide one in that backfield, you know? Hughes doesn't really have anybody to go against in that backfield. I don't really think that he's got too much competition when he's in the backfield to work with. I think that it's going to be the lion's share work for him.
I think Mekhi Hughes is an absolute stud, and I think he is guaranteed a top 3. You know, at the position, there's not much behind him. A lot of guys that didn't know Whittington's coming back, but he had injury in the previous season, so he's going to be the guy. And we've seen success from multiple running backs over the past 3 years since Dan Lanning's been there offensively. Oregon Ducks just pump out backs. Dante Moore is going to fill in just kind of how we saw Dylan Gabriel and Bo Nix play in that offense. He brings that, the same thing, off throw capability, off platform throw. He's mobile. So that'll all be there. They have a plethora of wide receivers, even with Evans doing now hurt. I don't think that they take a hit there. I think that Mekhi Hughes is going to piggyback successful season. I mean, what did he have last year? Quickly, 1,400 yards, but he's a workhorse, right? And this is the kid. With Singleton, I like that he has the Trayvon Henderson ability, that electric coming out of the line, boom, that burst out of the hole. Mekhi Hughes has that, but he has like this finishing gear to him, right? Like when he's in that 45-yard run, and he's still going, and that safety and DB thinking he can kind of put the pedal down a little more and pull away a little bit. I'm not saying he's got 4.3 speed, but he has a little bit more to him in the tank that I think the Singleton does when it's at the top of what do you want to call it, the route or running, whatever it may be. This dude is the pinball, right? Like coming out of the line, he's going to absorb contact, and he's going to either go forward or bounce off to the outside and just keep it trucking. He does have soft hands. He does, adds that receiving capability to him. It's not one, the biggest trait he has, but he can do it as well. Doesn't really make turnovers. This guy is solid when it comes to controlling the ball. Doesn't have many drops. I think this guy is going to be. He could be a 3-down back. He can't pass pro, and I think this guy is going to be a guy that maybe might not be a 1,000-yard guy, first year in the NFL, but I think he could get double-digit touchdowns his first year in the NFL. So he could put up 10 touchdowns, maybe say 700 yards, which would be a stellar stop for a career at the NFL, depending on what team he goes to. I like this kid's game a lot. Like I said, he's a pinball. It just bounces off everybody and continues to go. Now, again, competition at Tulane, competition at the Big Ten is going to be a little bit different. But we're going to see what we got from him right away. And obviously, he knew what he was getting into, and he wanted to showcase. He wants, he wanted to put his skills to the test for these NFL scouts and GMs to see. So he's not stupid. He knows what he's doing. Like I said, he's a 3-down back. He will get up in your throat and knock a linebacker on his ass if he has to.
Yeah. I mean, I think that he's got that skill set. He can run in zone, and I think he's shown both schemes that he can run pretty well in, and he's just a complete back. And you're right. The only thing that I'm worried about, I'm worried about this with every running back, but the health, I want to see that, this guy can take the workload. He can show the scouts and everybody that he is capable of carrying the ball 20 to 30 times a game and staying solid and keeping up the same pace that he, kept up with when he was getting 12 to 15. Let's move it over to wide receivers, man. I know that we talked about your one backstage. I kind of want to save him for last, if we're good with that. So who's the 3 in this class? So I'm thinking personally, it's between Tate and Singleton, but you throw me a curveball, I'm into it. Who do you have
at 3
as the 3? Yeah.
So it's by a CH that I have Eric Singleton Jr. over Mekhi Lemon as my 3.
Hell yeah, dude. Mekhi Lemon in there. So if we're going Mekhi Lemon, where's Zachariah Branch in all of this? Because man,
4, 5, 7. I gotta see some consistency, bro. Mekhi Lemon outperformed him at every statistical category last season.
I have him at 6, and that's tough for me too, because he's right there where Antonio Williams, Kevin Concepcion, and it's like
Denzel Boston up there too.
Denzel Boston, I know, dude.
You gotta
everyone's in on Denzel, and dude, he's climbing up the ladder. And people are definitely been chatting about him in Devi pods, and we just touched on the Devi Degens not that long ago. Denzel Boston's up there, but it's I like Singleton. I do. So you have it. Mekhi Lemon is your 3, or Singleton is your 3?
I have right here on my. I have Singleton as my 3, and Mekhi Lemon as my 4. Their numbers are like mirrors, like everything about it. The thing is, when it talks about, Eric Singleton ran more miles, I think, than SMU traveled last year. Like this dude they didn't know what to do with him last year, Jordan. Now he's in a totally different system at Auburn, but you're in a stacked wide receiver room. Cam Coleman, right? Perry Thompson. Malachi Simmons. Malachi Simmons was an absolute stud as a true freshman last year. Nobody talks about it. I only want to talk about Coleman.
It's insane. Yeah, I know. I just took him in a supplemental draft not that long ago, and I was just like, why is this guy so undervalued? Right? Is it because Singleton got there? I mean, I think that could be a reason why people are fading him a little bit, but
probably. Plus, Perry Thompson's a 4-star who didn't show up to Auburn until late in fall camp, so he was behind the 8 ball to begin with. I think the kid's going to do well, but now, is Eric Singleton going to be able to beat the kid out to get to the reps that he would like to have gotten that he was getting at Georgia Tech? Or, is the kid going to be able to? He
was so consistent at Georgia Tech. We're talking about his rookie year, 714 yards. Last year, 754 yards. I mean, he could have a pretty, all right, I'm not going to say breakout because he's already –
he's knocked on it, I feel like
he's already he's not like fully broken out, but if he had a monster year, it wouldn't be like a big time breakout. He's shown us what he is, I think he could take a jump.
And I
don't think I think it's got to be a decent jump, but I think we're looking at maybe going up to over 1,000 yards this year. And I think Coleman helps him. I think Coleman's gonna take off the pressure. Coleman's the one on that team. 100%. I think Singleton's got to know that. He's going to go in there. He doesn't have to be Batman all the time. He can be Robin. He can go in there and he could probably, you know what I mean? Take the defensive pressure off of Coleman. I think they're going to work well together.
I think they are too. Like I said, but I don't think Malachi Simmons is just going to let them get all the time. Like, you don't go for having almost 700 yards last year as a true freshman and half dozen touchdowns. Be like, yeah, homie, you could just walk in here through the transfer portal and just take my job. You know, because when you're gone next year, I'm still here, dog. And we're going to be battling for it. Well, when I look at Mekhi Lemon, he forced all these MFs out the building. Deuce Robinson, Zachariah Branch, they're like, yeah, bro, I ain't competing with him. And the only dude guy that stayed was Lane. Why? Because he put up 10 touchdowns, and he was the guy in the red zone. He was that, that big time, 40-yard bomb touchdown, or that guy when they would get it down there on the 5, they would just go to the corner, and he would make some spectacular catch. But when it came to the middle of the field, working the outside, the inside, all that, getting you there, it was Mekhi Lemon, bro. He led USC in every statistical category through 2 quarterbacks, bro. And the quarterback that's there now got real comfy and cozy with him down the stretch. So I think that they're only going to get better. I mean, this kid has, if he can polish it up, he looks to me like a baby Jordan Addison.
Oh, man, I actually like that. You're talking about Mekhi Lemon, right?
Yeah, Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah.
I think Mekhi Lemon looks like a baby Jordan Addison.
I like that comp. I like that comp a lot. I think that, we're talking about the release package, the way that he runs in and out of his stems, his breaks and stuff. Like, I could see that. I see the footwork in it. Yeah, man. I mean, I like that. Singleton, he's got to do a lot of stuff this year for me to even question whether he's going to be a top 2. I don't think he's a top 2 at all. I have Carnell Tate next up on the list. I like Tate a lot. You like Tate? Yeah,
I
you
like Tate, but I have concerns with Tate like I do with Singleton, right? Because if we're talking about the jump Singleton needs to take, I need him to either get to 1,000 yards, have 75 receptions, or get to double-digit touchdowns. I don't think he's getting to double-digit touchdowns. He's never even sniffed it, right? And with Cam Coleman there's a touchdown guy, right? I mean, hey, they may release the full Jackson Arnold, package like they did when he was the Gatorade Player of the Year when he threw for 50 touchdowns. He doesn't have to run the ball. Oklahoma was dumb last year. I don't know what happened. So if we get, prospect Jackson Arnold, shit, everybody might be eating for Auburn. We don't know. You know what I mean? But with Singleton, I need that jump. I need to see that jump. With Carnell Tate, where was the jump, dog? You had God in a jersey for you on the other side, drawing everybody and their brother away from you, and you weren't even a top 20 wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like, I'm used to multiple Ohio State Buckeyes being him, not just one guy. And when that one, Bob Harrison let everybody else eat and still put up numbers, right? Like, what happened?
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, we're talking about like previous teams where they had all 3 guys as top wide receivers in the class. And they were all of them. There was a factory. It is a factory. It's like, Buka's gone. Carnell Tate's coming in. And I agree with you. He should have done more. We saw 733 yards, and that was kind of just like pedestrian with 4 touchdowns.
I think so.
Yeah, it didn't feel good, and you could say the Jeremiah effect, or you could say anything you want. I mean, I think this year he is primed for. I'm gonna say a big year. I'm gonna say he's gonna. If I'm gonna drop a number right now, I'm gonna say 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns.
And I think that's possible, right? Because you lost 2 big dogs at the running back department. You're relying on a kid that's a sophomore in Peoples, and CJ Donaldson transfers in who's coming off an injured season, right? And he only had that one big year, and then he kind of never lived up to the hype again. I don't know if they can hit success in the bottle, lightning in the bottle twice through the portal with the running back. I don't know. Not everybody can be successful when it comes to stuff like that. But to rely on a sophomore who had less than 100 carries last season, new offensive coordinator, right? Because Chip Kelly's gone. I think, the guys that you can, your safety blankets, you guys your go-tos are Tate and Smith. And you got to, whoever's going to be the quarterback, whoever it's going to be, it's a first-year starter, right? I think it'll be Julian saying, if it's saying, I think they're going to rely on him to pass the ball. I mean, I don't think he's going to be throwing 50 times a game, but I think when it comes to it's maybe 60-40 in the pass game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if you're talking about 60-40, I mean, if he can't jump up this year as the 2, next to Jeremiah Smith, I don't even want to look at his face. I don't want to see him anywhere. You don't even put your face up on Sleeper. I want Sleeper to
shadow box.
Dude, yeah. I want him to be who's a guy that never got the face. I think Alex Pierce didn't get a face for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
There's some guys that just didn't, like a whole year they didn't get one. Like Trey Tucker didn't have one for the longest time, man.
Like these guys didn't have one for a while either.
Yeah, they're just like, all right, whatever. We're good with this guy. We don't want to put a face to the name.
He's got to be throwing to single coverage, right? Like Jeremiah Smith has to be getting doubled.
Yeah, he's getting doubled. I mean, you were playing. He probably saw the weakest coverage last year too, with Smith and Ibuka over there. It's like, I think the 700 is a little tainted at that point in time, because it is. You're eating with the guy that, you know what I mean, it probably shouldn't be on the NFL or the college team at that point. Right. You're getting covered by some guy that's going to be an accountant in a couple months, like
100%. Yeah, right. Exactly. He's going to be doing your taxes for you next year. You know what I mean? I'd be cool with the same amount of yards, but I need somewhere in the 9 to 10, 11 touchdowns.
Yeah, I want more yards though. I do, because we're
looking at a quarterback throwing for 3,000 yards is a first year starter.
You're right though. That's aggressive. Yeah, put that perspective on it a little bit. I mean, someone's gonna stay under 1,000 yards at this point, and it's gonna be Tate.
I'll take 10 touchdowns though, because then that's a step.
Yeah, I need something though, man. You're right. Though, if we see another 60 catch, 800 yard season, are you still taking this guy at this point, he's still going to be a top wide receiver in this class, right? I mean, unless we see who rises up. Anybody outside of our three guys right here that you could see really jumping in, like Boston.
Antonio Williams could take that step, dude. This year with Klubnik, with the way we think that Klubnik's going to perform, right? You have a loaded room. They're moving Randall away from him and putting him in the running back room, so that's one less target that he has to fight with. I mean, that the wide receiver room over there is loaded, but he's obviously the guy. Agent Sir is him. I think Antonio Williams is a dude fully healthy that could easily work his way up into top three, sniffing outside of the top three. And if Tate can't capitalize, he may, take a spot. Concepcion, bro. Like if Concepcion is used how he was used at NC State in his freshman season, in that Jaden Reed type role, right? Like, that guy who can work the outside, work the middle. You can use him in running plays. He had like 30 rushing attempts for almost 300 yards and multiple touchdowns as a true freshman, bro. Like, you don't normally see that. Like, that was like a Jaden Reed type like season for him, and that style of game. This kid at Texas A&M with the talent that's around him, he doesn't have to be that dude. They have talent now around him. If Marcel Reed can take that step and Elko can figure it the heck out, this kid could be a guy where we're like, all right, yeah, he's the 3. This is the guy.
Yeah. I mean, I agree that there's a couple guys like, Concepcion and the fact that he is such a value in Devy drafts and really kind of underlooked as far as who he could be in this class. I mean, that whole wide receiver room of Texas A&M, it intrigues me. I like that whole squad over there. You're talking about Mekhi Lemon. Mekhi Lemon could definitely jump. Tate could definitely jump. Singleton, if in the right situation. If we're talking about, you think Mekhi Lemon's definitely coming out? I think he might stay another year if he.
Well, I don't know. Last year's season of production, if he takes a step forward, I think he would capitalize with this wide receiver room. Like, he was already better than Branch. I don't think Branch is going to have a better season at Georgia. We're going to Stockton. So I think if we start looking at like the parents, you know what I mean? Like, right now, I said I have him at 4, but if you look at most people's list, he's somewhere in the top 6, right? Like, so if he goes forward in production, I think he'd be on almost everybody's top 5. Listen, he'd be kind of crazy to not go get that money and come out, because then you risk an injury and then falling out of the top 5. Now you're falling into round 4 and 5, late third, and the money's different. Another guy that's my dart is Eugene Wilson.
Oh, hell yeah.
Florida. Lagway, if he's
he's
healthy,
still,
that shoulder's
still in
clean.
Florida, right? Yeah.
He's at Florida, and then because you bring in
Was he
Dallas.
injured?
Yeah,
he wasn't injured,
he
right?
didn't. I don't know if he played all season or that was the previous season. But yeah, Eugene Wilson coming in with Dallas Wilson over there as well. You know, the 5-star wide receiver as a true freshman coming, who's going to be playing like he's got the structure of like a Jeremiah, not as big, but like that same type of body structure. I believe Lagway's him, I just need to know. I need Billy Napier to tell me that he's 100%, right? Because he's starting.
Dude, what happened to Wilson last year? What happened then?
They were going back and forth with quarterbacks, bro. Graham Mertz was starting Lagway, and I said that they had to put Lagway in. Once they put Lagway in, it was a whole different style of team.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the drop off.
Did he play 8 games? I think it was last year, right?
Was it only 8 games? 19 receptions, 266 yards.
I want to say he got.
I mean, he's electric though, man. Like absolutely. He is a big time receiver. I remember watching him his 2023, his rookie year, and thinking how massive he was going to be. But I was unplugged last year, so I wasn't really following him too much. And
yeah, he played 4 games.
That's kind of 4 games. Tough. Yeah. All right, let's talk our top guy right now. I think both of us are looking at Jordan Tyson at 1. Yeah. Somebody that I think could definitely rise up quite a bit this year if fully healthy over at Arizona State. I mean, he popped last year, man. He had the breakout. He had the year that, we kind of looked at as like, all right, we're going to see somebody pop. And I knew that Tyson, I liked what I saw from what happened in 23? Did he sit out 23? He was totally out of. He was totally hurt.
He got
totally
hurt.
He didn't play at all 2023, right? Mm-hmm. So we're talking about 2022, his rookie year at Colorado.
Right.
And then last year, 75 receptions, over 1,000 yards. So 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. And we're talking about average catch rates of 14.7 yards. I mean, dude, I love his tape. I love what I see from this kid. Like somebody that separates with ease. He's got the separation ability. He's very good at intermediate routes. He's got the long route down. Good hands. I like to call them sticky hands. Like the kid has the sticky hands, man. And that's what I love in wide receivers. I love guys that can make the catches with body contortion, with awkward angles, you know what I mean? Over the shoulder, whatever it is. And there's no question that this guy's catching it. Like he's got that extra grip on his hands. He's got the sticky tack, whatever they use. Like the dude catches everything. And he's got a good yak ability too. Like I think that I could probably do a whole hour on this kid if I really wanted to, because I think that you and I both agree he likely is going to improve his stock this year. I think he's going to jump a little bit in production, and that's going to lock him in as the one of this class pretty easily.
I tried for so long. I was in contact with Jordan Tyson as a freshman at Colorado. We tried to lock in an interview. It didn't work, but I was in contact with him as a freshman. Those numbers are in 4 games, man. He didn't get to be the guy until the last 4 games of the season, and he went off, right? And then obviously the injury happened. So the following year he hit the portal. The whole thing at Colorado happened. He hit the portal and went off. Like he just went off at Arizona State. People can attack me. It's at _ Nino Brown _ on X if you want to come at me. But he is my Devonta Smith of this class, bro. He's a little bit bigger Devonta Smith, but he can do. He may not be, it may not look as shifty because Devonta's a little bit skinnier, so everything he makes it look a little bit different. But I'm telling Jordan Tyson, he's my Devonta Smith of this class. He can break you. He can take you downfield and work you. Like, this kid is a deep threat. This kid can burn you right at the line of scrimmage and take the ball, from 1 to 25. He has everything. He checks all the boxes. He can run every route. There's probably 6 of the 9 routes that are in the green when you go to look at his chart. The intangibles there. He was top 20 wide receiver and missed 3 games at the end of the year. Didn't play any bowl games. Come on, people. Top 20 without playing 3. If he played those games, I guarantee you Jeremiah Smith would be sniff. He'd be right there chomping at his heels as a top wide receiver in last year's class, in last year's season.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you. I'm lockstep on that. I can see the Devonta Smith in his game. I can see that a lot. I mean, yeah, think like a bulkier guy though. Definitely
Right.
not somebody that is by any means a big guy, but like, what are we talking about with him? He's 6'1", almost 200 pounds. You know,
Yeah.
Smith is 160 pounds soaking wet. So it's like,
I want 170 something.
Man. I mean,
It doesn't look it, but that's what he's been.
Yeah.
That's what he's been listed at.
170, 170. I mean, 170 and almost 200 pounds.
But look at Jordan Tyson, though. Does he look like he's 196? He doesn't.
No, I mean, he looks like a baby. I have no concept of. I mean, when I see him on the field, he doesn't look tiny, but he doesn't look like a big guy by any means.
Right. Skinnier guy, can move. Like I'm not saying he's going to get, you flick him, he falls over. He can absorb some contact, but his game is to burn you. And whether it's at the line or downfield, and if the ball touches his hands, you be prepared because there's going to be some motion going on. You might get cooked. You might be left undressed.
Yeah, I mean, I there's always this speculation, and man, I'm already salivating at Jordan Tyson with his potential landing spot in the NFL. And I'm a degen, man. I get so far ahead of myself with this kind of stuff. I'm thinking about him being in Seattle. I'm thinking about him just playing his role in the NFL and all these juicy spots that I could see him land in. And these are the things that keep me up at night. I'm sitting there
he could come home to us,
dude.
If we have a middle pack season, right? Like,
he could. So Jordan Tyson is probably a first round pick, right? I mean, we're not talking about first round. We're talking late.
I'm talking 15 to 20.
Yeah. I mean, we could definitely be in that 15 to 20 range. I think that Drake May could probably squeak out another 5 or 6 games, and that'll put them at like an 8-win team. And that's probably exactly where we need to be.
That's what I'm saying. Get in the playoff or be in the
17th range. Yeah, I'm totally in, dude. I think that the days of fading wide receiver needs to end. We cannot keep doing this. I mean, I love the Travion pick, but man, I needed like the 3rd round tap of I like Kyle Williams.
Yes. I think both guys last year might get cut.
I think so too, man. I mean, and that's okay. And the room doesn't excite me, and it probably won't for a while. But if we get somebody like Jordan Tyson.
So if we don't go after Terry, and I don't want to be off the subject too quick because I want to say another spot where I think Tyson would work. If we don't go after Terry, I think we go after a wide receiver in the first round.
Yeah. I think that has to happen. I think that we finally this season are gonna grab that top playmaker after spending all that money on defense and broken up the offensive line. And it's like, we're in it, dude. I think I see the pieces. I see the vision, Nino.
We're back at the table, nerd boy.
I see the vision, dude. And if you asked me that 2 years ago, dude, there's no way I see any vision whatsoever. So
what now? Here's 2 spots. You put him in Carolina. Outside, Tyson on the other side, Leggett in the slot. You have a young receiver core, a young quarterback for at least 4 years. You know what I mean? A long time of youth right there in that room you can grow. Or you put him with Chris Olave, and you give Olave that other guy on the other side.
They desperately need another guy for the quarterback-less team over there. I mean, you see these guys building up wide receiver rooms without anybody to throw them the ball, and that's fine. But Olave,
he might not even be there by the time Tyson comes in.
That's what I'm saying. I think that if we're looking at another year, when's Olave's contract up? It's got to be up in next year. I think
next year, but they would probably extend them on the, because it'd be cheaper to extend them, right? And you wouldn't get as much back from them just letting them go and or trying to trade them. I don't know if you'd get back the capital that you would want right now. But hey, whether it's Rattler or Stroud, man, they could mess around and win 6 or 7.
Yeah, I know. I'm with it, man. I think that Oh man,
That
we
division
could talk. We could talk another hour, brother. We could go
Yeah, I
in
know.
and we could
I
talk
know.
another hour. We got Dynasty Dog Mike in here talking. You're the man, dude.
Oh, man.
You are the man. This was damn, dude. I missed this, man.
Yeah.
I meant to play something over here. I loaded up a bunch of stuff, and where are we looking at? Hold on, media assets. I got this. I got that. Oh, baby.
Yeah.
Boy. I think that'll just keep going like that. That's awful. I still got the NFL.
Oh, on the clock, baby.
Man.
Pick
We're
us
on the
in.
clock, man. Nino, tell everybody what you're doing, what you're cooking up, what you have going on, anything that you're linked up to, anything that you have dropping or that you recently dropped. Get it all out there, man. I want you to just, whatever you have, give it to the people.
All right. I mean, the personal handle is @__ Nino Brown __ on X. I mean, I'm a college football degen, and I just love college football. But fantasy, I have a passion for that too. I do enjoy fantasy and dynasty and Devi. But over at the CFB Nation, man, we're cooking every Monday. Tuesday we have overreaction. I got the Devi Dollins going there with my guy Dino. We're trying to find that next gem. You know what I mean? And then I got coming up, I think I'm going to be dropping it this upcoming Thursday. It's going to be a Beantown Brew. It's going to be my morning show. It'll be 9:30 morning. It'll be Boston College-based podcast. We'll be talking about.
Oh, yeah, man.
That
Let me
front
get on
six.
that thing, dude.
I'll get you on there. Well, I'll get you on there. We need to talk some shops. I'll definitely get you on a Beantown Brew.
Yeah.
Talk some Boston College. And then I got, CFB Prime, that late night college football talk.
Hell yeah, man. You're a worker bee, man. You're always doing something, man. You always have something in the fire, dude. I love that about you. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you jumping on with me. It's always a blast, man. I love you like a brother. You are a brother, man.
Fam.
This space is awesome because you can meet some of the best friends you've ever had in life on here, dude. And Nino will always be a best friend to me, dude. No matter how long between pods or between we talking and I mean, we can jump on and it's just like we're chilling, like we've been hanging out every day for the last.
That's how you know it's real,
so.
Bro. That's how you know the friendship is real. Like it could be a year, it could be a week, but when you rekindle, man, it's like it never happened. You're like nothing. There was no time missed.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, appreciate you jumping on the Degens. I appreciate everybody joining us. You can catch our Debbie show on Monday. We have our redraft show on Tuesday. And then we have our special next Thursday. So I actually just dropped a mailbag special earlier today. If you guys aren't in on that, definitely check that out because it's not just the Discord. We are talking about all sorts of trades, values, players, people that you should pick up, people that you should draft, somebody that you should stash. The pod has a little bit of everything. So don't think it's just the mailbag answering questions, and it's covering a lot of stuff. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you next week. Peace.